Hello and welcome to the channel. In this video, I'll be bringing you stage 2 of the Lap It Up series. Now, as far as this race and this whole series, I wasn't in any real hurry to get back into a really competitive e-race series after completing the Zwift games. I put a lot of effort into the Zwift game series and I was feeling a little bit of fatigue from it and just didn't want to do any competitive races in this series. Now, when I say competitive, to be competitive in any e-race series, you have to do prime time races. And I knew if I avoided doing stage 1 at prime time, then that will let me relax and just go into the rest of the series with just regular racing. And when I say regular racing, for me, that's normally a evening race here on the Northeast in the Eastern Standard Time. So this race that I'm doing here took place at around about 5 p.m. with somewhat of a small field. I had a little lackluster warm-up for this. I only did about 16 minutes, and even in that warm-up, I never really pushed past zone 2. It was just more likely spinning. So I was hoping that this race would start off easy and allow me to warm up and get into it. Now, I had no clue what course I was going to be racing on. I didn't know what course I was going to be racing on until I actually got into the pen and actually looked up and saw that it was in the Scotland world in Glasgow. And I was thinking, well, I know this course. But as the race started, nothing looked familiar to me. I was like, well, where are we? I'm thinking to myself, I have no clue what course I'm on or where I'm going. And then that's when I noticed that it was reverse. I'm like, oh, is that course that I don't like that much, but in reverse. So I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be a terrible course for me. Just hopefully everybody will stick to riding easy and just chill. And that's actually how it started off, which was probably a good thing for me because it allowed me to warm up. Now, at this point, I was just trying to figure things out in the race, trying to figure out who I was racing against because I never got on Zwift Power to check out the people who are in the race because I just was really going to not take it too seriously. But I was looking at the board over on the right and seeing if there were any names that I could recognize over there. And for the most part, I didn't recognize any of these racers. I mean, I saw a name that looked might have been familiar. I saw like Frecklington. That looked like I might have raced against him before. And I saw a guy on the Pizza Boys teams, but the name itself didn't ring any bells. So for the most part, I was flying blind on this race. Didn't know much about how the elevation changes were going to be or anything like that. But it was a 6-lap crit, so I was going to find out everything I needed to know after one lap. So at this point, we hit this first little punchy climb, and I went into it kind of a little apprehensive. I'm like, okay, are we going to hit this hard? And I was surprised that, for the most part, a lot of us went into orange numbers because it was kind of steep. But then once you got to the top, it was like, okay, just let it roll and you can coast down, and it seemed like, okay, there's going to be some good recovery on this lap. But then just as soon as we get down to the bottom of this, there was another little punchy climb. I'm like, okay, that wasn't too bad. Kind of rolled through it, hit a little flat section, and just continue going on. Then there was another little gradual punchy climb, which wasn't that bad at all. I'm like, okay, I'm liking this. And it seemed like we were getting through this lap very quick. We passed through this banner. I tried to hit my power up, and didn't hit it in time. And now I'm didn't get a new power up for that arch, but no biggie. I didn't feel like I really needed it. My heart rate's only like at 160, so I'm not feeling any will effects of not getting that extra power up or getting to use that arrow power up for as long as I would have got to use it. So at this point, I'm just taking things in, surveying the landscape, checking out my competition, seeing who's going to push, seeing who's not going to push. At this point, I rolled up to the front and I wasn't pushing very hard, so I didn't feel like I really needed to drop back or anything like that. My heart rate was below 160, so I'm like, okay, I had no problem. I'll stay up front. I'm just cruising. We'll see how things turn out. Now I'm just checking out the finish. There's a slight little pickup here, and then it flattens out, and then it looks like pretty much a little horseshoe right before you go into the finish. And picked up about 1%, staying about 1%, goes up to about 3-4%, then drops back down. For the most part, this is a flat finish. This is going to be a flat finish. So this is going to be a good sprint. So I think if you're going to do that sprint, you want to start on that first left-hand turn. Start there and then go from there. You don't want to wait until the next turn or till you get around to seeing the finish line. You want to start on that first left turn or before that first left turn, and then you just nail it and then just let yourself go right on around until you hit the finish. So I scoped out what the finish is going to be like. I'm just going to ride wheel and see how things go and just wait in for that final sprint finish. But who knows how the race is going to turn out. We have a guy here that's looking like he's got a little itchy trigger finger, and he pulls up ahead a little bit, but you can see by his watts up on the board that he wasn't serious about it, and we just didn't even have to do anything and rolled right back up behind him. Now this climb here, this is this first punchy climb. I think you have to do that punch before you make that left-hand turn. If you do that punch before you make that left-hand turn, that gives you a little bit more oomph going up the hill, and you don't hit that hill and slow down first before you have to hit the gas and go back up forward. So here's a guy who pulled out a little bit riding down this hill and really not doing anything. Feather power up went away just as quick as it came, and we all just rolled right up behind him. So now we roll over this little climb, and that little climb is nothing because you're coming off of that descent. You go around this bend, and then you hit this next little climb, and I'm thinking this might be a good place for somebody to attack. There seems like a lot of places on this course to attack, but this seems like it would be a good place to attack also, because it's not that bad of a hill, and if you're not paying attention, somebody can get out in front of you. And that's exactly what happened. I could not see that guy made a break because I didn't hit that hill hard, and I was stuck behind, well, not stuck, but I was behind all the other riders, and because they fired off their power-ups, I couldn't see that guy got a launch, and he took off. So now I'm deciding, do I chase him and bring everybody with me, or do I just wait and see what he was going to do? And I decided to wait and see what he was going to do. Probably not the best of ideas, but like I said, I really didn't want to race this race hard. I wanted to just get through it and possibly just sprint at the end. However, I'm watching this guy get further and further ahead. I'm watching him move off into the distance, and I'm watching the time on the board get further and further away. And I decided that, okay, I wasn't going to drop back with the rest of the group and ride their wheels and just see whatever they were going to do. I wanted to at least put enough power on to keep the group moving so that the guy just didn't completely disappear from us. But he was still moving further and further away. 8 seconds going further and further away. And then I started thinking, well, maybe I'll just settle for second. Knowing that, okay, I'm going to do well in the sprint, in the final sprint. I said, maybe I could just settle for second and just really not race it that hard. So, actually, that's what I was going to do. Weird for me to settle, but I really just didn't really want to push hard. And I just wanted to get through the race. So, second, it was going to be 9 seconds behind this guy. He's still on the power. He's still pulling ahead. 10 seconds away now. And I was like, I'm not worried about it. We'll see what the rest of these guys are going to do. And we'll have fun with it at the finish. So now I'm just studying the course. And now I know that after that little kink, we're going to hit this little straightaway. And then on this left, there's another riser, that kicker. And right as I see that, the Williams guy puts down a kick. And I know he's going. So I hit the gas to make sure I go right along with him. And I had to put in a little bit of extra power going over that hill to make sure that I got his wheel, because I was not going to get left behind. And it was wild, because just that little effort between him and I dropped that guy's lead by 3 seconds. That quick. I was like, okay, we're going to get to this guy. But I'm going to let Williams do the work. So I kind of pulled up on side of him, and I was like, oh, nope, slow down a little bit. Ride his wheel, see what he's going to do. And just like that, he went back out in front, and I was able to just press on the power a little bit to get back up to him, to get on his wheel, and let him do the work. Now, going down this hill, he hit this arrow boost, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. So he will get arrow. I will ride his wheel. I ain't got to do much work. And he's going to grab even more time back from that guy that's out front. And look at that. That guy's time down is chopped almost down to nothing that quick. This crit course is awesome. I like this course. So let me get on the gas a little bit. Let me do a little bit of work and help pull us further up to this guy. We're going to catch him kind of quick. We're already down to like 4 seconds. We'll get to him. No problem at all. So I know he sees us coming. And he's decided that he's not going to kill his legs trying to stay away from us. So you could tell that he's kind of backed off his power a little bit, because he's saying, and I would probably say the same thing, okay, they're coming. Those guys will get to me. Let me back off so that I can cool down and rest my legs and get ready for maybe another attack. Probably could attack at the same spot. But we were there. We were on him. And I was like, okay, this is good. That wasn't too bad. That wasn't an awful attack to have to get back onto him. And at this point, now it's just us three. Everybody else is left behind. You know you're going to finish on the podium. All's there to decide now is at what color of gold you're going to get. Well, not what color of gold, but what color you're going to get in the final standings. It's either going to be gold, silver, or bronze. I like saying it like that rather than first, second, and third. Gives it a little bit more But yeah, at this point, I'm just going to recover from the little kick that I did and see if I can let these other two guys do the work. We only have about 2.5 laps to go, and these laps seem to go by fast. You hit those two punchy climbs, and then it seems like the lap is over. So I'm really enjoying this course, and I'm figuring out, and I know that right here, you got to hit it right before you get that turn, and it catapults you up the hill. Look how easily I just went by him, as if it was nothing. And then before you know it, you're at the top of this hill, and unless somebody's really hitting the gas, at this point, you can put it on coast and recover. This course just seems so totally different this way than it does the other way, in the other direction. In the other direction, it seems like you're climbing a lot longer. Well, you probably are because you're going through these little whoops here. But in this direction, it just seems like it's over for me much quicker. And at this point, they're back out in front of me. All I know I need to do is I need to watch out for them on attacks. And you kind of know where they're going to attack at. And as long as I can see it happening, I don't think either one of these guys can break away from me at this point. So now I'm just going to watch and see how things develop. Okay, these guys are really slowing down now. It seems like they just want to ride my wheel. So I don't know if they just need the recovery, if they're tired or what. I I have to start remembering to click the other racers just to see what their stats are showing. See if they even have like a heart rate monitor, or if their heart rate's high, or if their cadence is high, or where their power is. I have to remember to look at those things because I keep forgetting to do that. And I should have checked these two guys out to see what state that they were in, because at this point I don't know, but I have the ability available to me to check that out, and I don't know why I don't check, but I should check. But we're getting back to the point. We're getting to the kink. Here's the kink. We know after we go around this kink, we're going to hit that little straightaway, and then that left that leads us into that first kicker. And I'm interested to see what the Pizza Boys guy does, whether or not he attacks or not. I know I just need to get on the power right here to get me up to the top of the hill. I'm waiting to see what they're going to do. And it looks like Pizza Boy is putting in a dig. So I need to put into a dig, and I do, to make sure that I cover so that he doesn't get that option of flying over this ridge and then disappearing down the backside. And now he knows that I'm watching him and that I'm on him. And did you see that? Did you see that? Williams. He used this arrow. He used this arrow to stay attached to us in that little section. I have to take a mental note of that, because when you see guys using their power-ups and able to allow them to stay attached to the group, that kind of means that they may be on their limit. And they use that power-up to make sure that they don't get dropped. So I think Williams is in trouble, but I'm still going to keep my eye on Pizza Boys to make sure that he doesn't get that little breakaway that he got earlier in the race. Which seemed a little early for that. He probably should have saved that. But hey, it is what it is. You do what you're going to do. He probably thought that we were all going to be riding slow and that he could just ride away. But now I'm back out in front. We'll see what they're going to do. See if they're just going to ride wheel or not. And it looks like they're going to ride wheel. So I'm slowing down. We have just a little over a lap left. We should be getting into that next little kicker soon. I'm interested to see if anybody's going to try and make a break on that next little kicker. But yeah, the pace is really slowing down. I'm seeing a little too much blue here, which means that I'm like in zone 1, zone 2 a little bit here. This is going too slow. I'm sure everybody wants to recover, but at this pace, no, the group probably could catch back up to us. I don't know if we want to go that slow. Low 160s, yeah, this is kind of slow. But we'll see what happens. We'll see if anybody tries to make a break as we go around. I'm going to call this the horseshoe. Call this the horseshoe to the finish. As we go around here, nobody's pushing. They're falling back. They're slowing down. We're going back into the blue on my graph. So either they're tapped and need a lot of recovery, or they're just saving it for the sprint, or somebody's going to try and attack. I'm kind of hoping somebody tries to attack, because I just want to cover it. Because look at my heart rate, 159. Oh man, this is like, what are you guys doing? You can't be that tapped out from this. So 157. I'm gonna start walking in a minute. You guys gotta. I should attack. Do I want to attack? I don't know if I want to attack. I don't know if I want to attack. I think I just want to sprint these guys just to flex my sprint muscles, I guess. Maybe I should attack. We'll see. We'll see. Here's the kink. Here's the kink. We're getting ready to go into the first kicker, and I'm expecting Pizza Boy to go again. I'm expecting him to go again. Let's see if he's going to go again. I think I got this guy's number, and I know what he's going to do. He's going to try it again. It's probably a smart move. With all of that recovery we just had, he should have a lot of energy. So I hit my power early just to make sure, and there he goes. He steps on it. So I go. And this time I'm thinking he's going to try and go long, so I put a lot into this one. I'm going to dissuade him from wanting to do anything. And yes, he backs off. He backs off. He doesn't try it. And there goes Williams again with his power up. Use it to stay attached. I think he's in trouble. I think he's in trouble. I don't know if he's going to try and make a break anywhere. I don't think he's going to try and make a break. But I know Pizza Boy will try again on that next kicker. So we go down this little decline. I take a little breather. And come on, Pizza Boy. Come on, Pizza. And there he goes again. And this time he hits his feather. So he's really going all in to make this attack. And you'll notice that my bike went a little slow there for a second. That's because of the power hit that I put on it. It does that. It's kind of weird. But I'm not going to let these guys get away. And what happened was they backed off before I did, and I rolled right on by them. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a break here. But I look, and I look up at the board, and all of a sudden, they're like a second behind me, and there's a gap. So I'm like, let me hit the power again and see if they respond. And I hit the power, and they didn't respond, and the gap got bigger. So I'm like, I have less than a K left. I'm going to stay on this power and see what they do. They never responded. Come on, it can't be this easy. Now, granted, my heart rate is up to 180, so I am breathing hard. It's not like this is just easy, but they're not responding, so I just stay on the power. You know, I could do 7.5 watts per kilogram for 4K easily. And I just pulled right on away from them. All I know is I have the horseshoe left, and I'm done. And I see them going to orange numbers, but it's too late. I'm done. This was a cakewalk. You guys made it easy on me. And just like that, I won the stage. Now, granted, this wasn't prime time. I know that. Prime time is a totally different story. I would have loved to have been in a primetime race. Maybe I will do one of these in primetime. But as it stands right now, this is all I wanted to do. This is all I wanted to do was just to win the stage. I knew, kind of had that in the back of my head that I would. But it was a good race. Now let's check some stats. 334 watts for 20 minutes. Not much on the peak power for 5 seconds. I knew that wasn't going to be a lot because I didn't really do a sprint. Peak power is 1051. That was just on one of the digs up the hill. 186 max for a heart rate. Yeah, I did push it up there a little bit towards the end. And power graph looks okay. Nothing to write home to mom about. Taking a look at the Zwift power results. Hey, all 3 of us were A+ cat riders, so that's good. At least the competition was good. It wasn't like I was just burning away any regular riders, so that's good that it was all A+ cat riders that were up front. And you can see that I won. There's nothing really to say too much about as far as the power measurements. They all look pretty similar. My 20-minute power was 5 watts per kilogram, 4.9 up there. Yeah, it was a pretty good showing, and I'll take it. I did notice, now that I'm noticing, Mikey P was in this race. Mikey P is somebody who races with Eric Lee and don't get dropped cycling a lot. So, I wish I'd have known he was in there. I'd have sent a shout out or something. But it is what it is. It was a good race. And I will get ready to saddle up for stage 3 at some point. Probably another nighttime race. Hopefully with just as many riders in it. 17 was a good turnout, or was a good sign up for this event. So I'd like to do 17 again. But till then, till the next race, peace.